Hi, and welcome to Classic Advice. My name is Scarlett Classic, your host. Welcome, everyone. To those of you that are new, on this podcast, I share stories from my life to draw lessons from them to encourage self-improvement for a happier and more fulfilling life. Are you overwhelmed right now? Overwhelm can hit us, just blindside us, and come out of nowhere. The other day I was just sitting relaxing in my room, and I've mentioned on the show before that we've had some cold days and we've had frost come through our walls, which means it's getting wet on the inside of the camper and in multiple different areas, but one of the areas was in our closet where I keep all my clothes, and keeping our clothes away from said walls is helping us keep our clothes dry, but I need a place to put my clothes. And it's just, frustrating because I really like to have things nice, neat, and organized, and it's hard to do that when you can't even have your clothes touch the wall. So, anyways, I was sitting in bed, and I was about to take my oldest son home, and it dawned on me, oh no, I've never checked the cupboard behind where our camper fridge is. There's two cupboards there, and I've not checked them to see if frost was coming in through there. One of those cupboards is for my husband to put his stuff in there. And one of them is where I put all of my books. And books are something that are so incredibly precious to me. I adore books. I love them. But I not only love them, because lots of people are like, well, why don't you get a Kindle? Why don't you get like an e-reader so that you're not buying all these books and they take up a lot of room? And no, because when we eventually build the cabin, I'm going to have all these bookshelves and have them on display. I like collecting books. And a lot of books that I read are like a part of a series. So, when we moved, I packed all the books that I've already read and put them into boxes, and they're in storage. And I'm just hoping and praying that most family doesn't make it their home. And the books that I hadn't read yet, I brought with me, and my favorite ones. And when I went through that cupboard, a lot of my books were wet. And I know this is not the end of the world by any sort of stretch. And I even made the comment to my kids and my husband, Roy, yesterday. I said, you guys probably think this is so silly, but I'm trying not to cry right now because these are so precious to me. And two of them in particular got so wet that I don't think they're saving them. They're probably ruined. Which, I get it. Again, not the end of the world by any means or any stretch of the imagination. I can always replace them. It's really not that big of a deal. But at the time, it was a very, very big deal to me. I was overwhelmed. I was not just the whole frost situation is making living in the camper difficult. And it's this is the very beginning of the bad weather. We're right at the beginning of it. Yeah, we still have at least 2.5 more months of this. I've noticed a trend in myself that when I'm overwhelmed with something, I'm not really using the rational side of my brain. And I tend to blow things further out of proportion than they need to be. Are you dealing with something in your life that's overwhelming you? Do you feel overwhelmed? Currently, at the time of recording, when this is going to be released, it's going to be mid-December, and the hustle and bustle of the season is pretty nuts right now. But not just around December, but life is busy any time of the year, and is when we get really, really busy and stressed, it's easy to become overwhelmed with things. I think the lesson that I'd like us to take out of this is that being self-aware enough to acknowledge when we are overwhelmed is so incredibly hard. I get it. But also so necessary. And that's half the battle right there. I knew as I was trying really hard to not overreact to my books being wrecked. And not all of them. 95% of them were fine. It's just 2 that I think are ruined. And now I took them out of that cupboard. The cupboard's empty, and they're sitting in my fridge to air out because the indoor fridge is broken. We only have a mini fridge that you have to access from the outside of the camper that we store like our milk in and stuff. And then we have coolers outside that are more like freezers right now because it's really cold out. But so yeah, my books are sitting in a fridge trying to dry out. And while I was drying them off and sticking them in the fridge, I knew I was being a little bit irrational in the moment, but having that self-awareness and acknowledging, am I overreacting right now? Is this something that, is reasonable the way that I'm reacting? Or am I completely overwhelmed with just life right now that I'm then overreacting to things? Because really, things could be a lot worse. For the most part, the camper's holding together just fine. I think taking a step back, and once we've calmed down, then we can approach the problems with a rational mind instead of an overwhelmed one. And just tackle one step at a time. That's the challenge for this week. If you are overwhelmed with life right now, I challenge you to just take a step back, make yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a little notebook, and write out the things that you gotta get done. Or write out the problem that you're dealing with, and then write out some possible solutions to the problem, and then tackle it one step and one solution at a time. And that's all we can do. My husband keeps reminding me of that. When I ask him, what are we going to do? What's this? What's that? Take it one day at a time, hon. One day at a time. That's how we're going to get through winter. One day at a time. And that's how you're going to get through this too. One day and one step at a time. Alrighty. that is it for this episode. As my friend JJ always loves to say, please pause. Make that cup of tea, you guys. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to take a step back and write out those steps one by one. And be aware of your ripple. See how tackling it with a rational mind will ripple into finding some solutions. It's amazing how that works. Stay classically you. Stay uniquely you. You guys are the absolute best. I love all my listeners, and I absolutely adore hearing from you. Please head over to my website. It is classicchronicles.ca. It is all in the show notes. I can't wait to hear from you. Take care, you guys. Enjoy that tea. Till next time. Bye.